Well, I think like a lot of your strategies, like are like focusing on the questions and not so much reading the textbook. Like I was before, I was kind of reading the textbook too much. Like it was just a waste of time. And like I was watching the lectures the surgeon had, and they just weren't helping me at all. I wasn't spending as much time as I should on the practice questions. And so I thought that was the real like game changer for me.
Welcome to another episode of the CPA Exam Experience podcast from Superfast CPA. I'm Logan, and in today's interview, you're going to hear Nate and I talking to Kevin. Kevin really struggled with the study process at first. He just couldn't figure it out and it just wasn't working for him, and he took multiple exams and kept failing to the point that he eventually gave up for a while. A little while later, his wife encouraged him to get back into it, and at that point, he discovered Superfast CPA. From then on, with some tweaks and some changes, he was able to start passing exams. Even when in the middle of the process, his wife had their daughter, and he was still able to keep passing exams while as a sleep-deprived new father. Not only that, Kevin was still able to go to a concert or two, which is something he loves, because his process became so efficient. Before we jump into this great interview, I just want to give everyone one more reminder about our free 1-hour training webinar on superfastcpa.com. This is 1 hour that will save you months and months of struggling with your study process. With all that said, let's dive straight into the interview with Kevin.
So I'll just start with a couple direct questions about pre-Superfast CPA, and then once you started like using our stuff, and then we'll kind of go into the whole study story.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. It's a long story.
Okay. I guess somewhat going back to the beginning or before you started using Superfast CPA, what were the biggest struggles you were having with the study process and the exams in general?
I just didn't know how to study at all. Like it's totally different from school, these exams, and I just didn't know how to apply my study program, and it was just such a struggle in the beginning. It just didn't click with me at first, and the multiple choice were just rough for me. So I'll just go back to the beginning.
Okay, yeah.
I was a business major in college, and I didn't know I wanted to do accounting then, so I did business instead. And then after I graduated, I got a job at a business management firm in Nashville where I live, and I started working in like accounting, bookkeeping, and then from there I went back and got all my accounting hours, and then I started studying for the CPA exam after that.
And so like how long of a period was it in the beginning, the struggle period before you came across our videos or whatever?
Okay. Yeah. So that was back in 2017. I was really struggling. I was using Surgent CPA Review, and it didn't click with me at all. So then I went back and got all my accounting credits at Lipscomb University, and so I did really well there. So I just decided to stick with accounting for my career. And then after I graduated from that, I started studying for the CPA exams in 2016 and early 2017. And I started with BEC, and just nothing clicked with me for that. But it's just all over the place, and I just didn't know anything. And I took it 3 times. I did not pass once. The highest score was a 70.
So you were getting close, just kind of following the traditional method. Yeah. You were getting pretty close.
I was fairly close, yeah.
Yeah.
But then I think the scores were 56, 70, 64. So then after that, I took a break and kind of gave up. And then so fast forward 5 years, late 2021, I got married, and my wife really encouraged me to go back into this and pursue it. So I really have her to thank for completing this journey. And
I think we all feel the same way.
Oh, good.
About our spouses.
Absolutely, yeah. Because she's actually an internal auditor, and so she doesn't have her CPA. She has a certified information systems auditor.
Oh, okay.
So that was at the end of 2021 when we got married, and then so she just really encouraging me to go back into it. So that's about like when I found your video on YouTube.
Okay.
And then that was like a month before I was going to take BEC again. So I didn't really have time to apply your strategies or anything, but I did buy all the products, the study tools. And so I was still using Surgeon at the time. So I went in there and I did not pass again. I think I got like a 56 or something like that. So then after that I needed a new strategy. So I went back and I purchased Becker because I'd heard really good things about Becker. I think that was one of the things that really helped me, because like their approach is just more streamlined and Surgeon, and it's a lot easier. It was a lot easier for me to follow it.
Were you trying to do the adaptive thing from Surgeon?
Yeah, I was.
Yes.
It just never worked for me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I think it's better to manually cover each lesson, you know.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, that's why
yeah.
I think that's why I kept failing. It's like I didn't cover everything and I didn't know.
And BEC I thought was the hardest exam anyway. So
Oh, I thought audit was harder because I've never been
Mhm,
an auditor. I've just done tax and bookkeeping, or
Yeah.
bookkeeping and accounting. So audit was very hard for me because I just like there are two different answers and a lot of multiple choice.
Yeah,
I
it all
actually got a
sounds the
75
same.
on that one.
Nice.
awesome.
Perfect.
Very happy to perfect score. Yeah. So yeah, purchased all the study materials and pro videos. I went through all that, and that was very helpful.
Do you remember what specific strategies or things from the pro course that really helped you out compared to what you were doing before?
Oh yeah, like just focusing on the questions and taking notes, and yeah, the questions first approach was the thing that sticks out in my mind.
Okay.
Because I thought the practice multiple choice questions are the most effective learning tool. But I learned really well by taking notes and writing stuff down. So I would take a good amount of notes as well, and I would also like work the problems in Excel. I thought that was really helpful. I thought Excel is a very great tool to have. I don't know if is it still in the 2024? They have another spreadsheet
I
function,
believe
right?
so.
Yeah, they're doing
believe they
just
still have
kind
a
of a
spreadsheet.
new little generic spreadsheet again,
Mhm.
like they
Okay.
did
Yeah.
pre 27.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, that's
Yeah.
wow. Okay. So yeah, I would mostly do the problems in Excel, and I would make some flashcards. Like I thought that was really helpful from the pro course, making flashcards just on like terminology,
Yeah.
like for business law
Mhm.
or audit. I'd use
Mhm.
Brainscape. I thought that was really useful.
Okay. Did you do the idea of like mini sessions,
Oh
studying from
yeah,
your phone throughout the day?
absolutely. That was the next point I wanted to make. I I would constantly study with my phone and read your review notes like over and over and over again. I absorbed information by reading it and seeing it. So I would focus on the review notes. But I did listen to the audios sometimes when I was driving into work. Got about a 30-minute commute every day.
Okay.
So I thought that was all very helpful. And the mini quizzes also were very useful to me as well. Like I would do those constantly. I was
Yeah.
sitting like just watching TV or something, or just at work. Whenever I had a chance to do them, I would knock out a 5-question quiz.
Yeah, and it just adds up, right? It's just
Absolutely.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I found.
hundreds of times. That's just a lot
Hundreds
of
of
extra
hours.
questions. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought those are very useful, helpful to me. And then so I decided I need some help. So I got a tutor, and she really helped me like with a lot of the material and just showing me how to solve the problems, because I just didn't really know how to do
Yeah.
them on my own. So I just reached out for help, and next time I took it, I passed with a 78.
Awesome.
And then so after that I had it just raised my confidence so much that I knew I could do this. And after that I went in, I started studying for FAR right after BEC. It took about 3 months for that, and I passed it with an 84.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Yeah,
On your first try?
first try.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I think like my previous accounting experience was very beneficial to me in that. There's like a lot of financial statements material, and I'd done a lot of that in my work experience.
But also, a lot of people are like work in auditing. They've worked for 10 years. They're nearly an audit manager, but they still really struggle with the exam. So I get basically what I'm getting at is
Oh yeah,
I
right.
think your experience was helpful, but I think mostly you had the process kind of figured out by then.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I
So
definitely did.
what did it look like at that point? What was a day of studying once you were studying for FAR where you got an 84 on your first try? Like what was the whole day of studying, your main session and also I guess basically you used the study tools throughout the day. What was your
I did,
studying
yeah.
like? Yeah.
I'm more of a night person, so I would study at night. I know you recommend doing it in the morning, but I couldn't bring myself to wake up that early. So I would do like about a 2 to 3 hour study session at night, just going through the multiple choice mainly and practice sims. Like I wouldn't like I did watch the lectures, but they're so dense in Becker. They're
Hmm.
a lot of just goes over my head. So I would focus on all the questions because that's how I learned best, just by doing them and solving them. I thought that was the best strategy for me. And like I said, I would take notes on some things I struggled with or make flashcards.
Did you keep the tutor through the whole thing or was it just for that?
Oh, I no, I did actually. I
Okay.
kept her throughout my process.
How
She helped me
often
pass.
did you meet with her?
Probably once every 2 or 3 weeks or so.
Okay, so that's interesting. So if it was that infrequent, how did you just go to her with these are the problems from the last 2 or 3 weeks that I'm struggling with? How do I do
Yeah.
these?
Oh yeah, basically.
Okay.
And we would work in like Google Sheets. And so I would just like take screenshots of all the problems I had questions on, and she would just show me how to work them in Excel,
Okay.
Google Sheets. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
then you would rework them so that you knew how to do them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I would do
yeah.
the same thing with all the sims as well. I would rework them before the exam, and then really help me out.
Okay. That is helpful, but
Hmm.
every 2 or 3 weeks isn't enough to where it's like, I mean, this was still mostly your
Yeah.
process working. You're studying every day. You're kind of just troubleshooting,
Yeah.
spot treating areas with her, basically.
Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
like a lot of the material in FAR was like just clicked for me for the most part. So
Okay.
Hmm.
and I actually work in tax, so reg was like kind of the same way.
Hmm. Yeah. So you passed FAR, and then
Hmm.
did you go for reg or audit next?
I did audit next,
Okay.
and I failed it the first time, got a 71,
Oh,
and
so
then
close.
yes, it was brutal getting that. And then I went back. I think I took it in January 2023 for the first time, which was just crazy because I'd just taken FAR in December of
Mm,
22. So that
okay.
I just rushed it. It's just I wanted to get it over with, but it should have taken more time. But then a few months will go by. In between passing FAR and passing audit, my wife and I have a daughter.
Nice. Congrats.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you. So then so yeah, she was like 6 weeks old when I audit again, and then I just went back and took it and passed the time.
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
didn't, yeah, I
Even
just,
sleep deprived.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. I was very sleep deprived at that point,
Ugh, I bet.
but yeah, I was able to do it with two exams, and then so yeah, I passed audit. Then I went back and for reg, and I also passed that one on the first try as well.
I was looking up your email because you had emailed me like mid
Yeah.
2023 just saying like
Oh yeah.
I passed, thanks, you know. So you've been done for close to a year now, or I mean 8 months or
Um,
so.
almost 8 months. It
Yeah,
was end of June last year when I took it, reg.
that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
how does it feel to be done the last 8 months after all those, struggles and how hard it was?
I can't even describe the feeling of relief. Like
Yeah,
it was the best feeling in the world to finally be done with this and have my life back. As I'm sure everybody else on here says, like such a huge accomplishment, best feeling in the world.
yeah, definitely.
Was there anything during this process, you're married and then partway through this you have a daughter. Is there anything that you
Hmm.
made a priority to make sure you didn't sacrifice, like that you were able to still do during
Oh,
all this, even though you were so busy?
absolutely. I made it a point to work out still. I needed that in my life.
When would you fit that in? Was that a morning thing?
I would do that in the morning usually.
Okay.
Yeah, and study at night. I didn't really do a great job of that, but I was still able to work out some. Also, I really like going to concerts and seeing live music. So that was something I did not sacrifice. Like for instance, we went and saw Taylor Swift
That's
the
lucky.
the Friday before.
That big one.
Yeah, the Friday before my audit exam, I went and saw her with my wife because she's a huge Taylor Swift fan. So I think that really helped me to relax and pass the exam on
How many concerts did you go to? Do you know throughout the whole
throughout
process?
the Oh, not as many actually.
What are your favorite bands, or what were the best concerts you went to?
I like rock a lot, so I've seen. I've seen a lot of bands. Like I've seen the Who a few times, and like Rush and.
Okay, so
Rush? Oh,
you
man.
like classic rock?
That's amazing.
I like classic rock and modern rock, but
Yeah.
I like pretty much everything though.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to go to, I've actually never been to a concert. I'm hoping to go to a Metallica concert in Seattle later this year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's awesome that you've been to so
I've,
many.
I've seen them a few times.
A few
Yeah,
times. That's cool. Yeah, so you must go to a lot
Maybe-
of concerts.
I used to. I don't go as many anymore now that I'm married and have a child.
Yeah, that's awesome that you're
Oh.
able to do it, still.
Oh yeah, I know. Like, yeah, that was something I was not willing to sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as long as you have your daily process nailed down, you can fit
Yeah.
stuff in still. It's kind of, it's the whole
Absolutely.
thing.
And I did. So yeah. Then we basically went out to dinner after I passed reg, celebrated, and then it took another. I got my license in September, so it took about 2 months to get it. That's just how long it takes NASBA to everything to Tennessee, but
Yeah.
it was worth the wait.
Once you have the 4 big exams passed, that's when
Oh yeah, that's true.
you're basically done, then it's just kind of
Exactly.
waiting
Yeah.
some paperwork. But like the daily struggle is over.
Exactly. I had to take the ethics exam too for Tennessee, but
Yeah.
that was, it was kind of tricky because it was open book, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
That's the good thing
remember-
about that one is
it
it's
took
open
me a
book,
few
yeah.
attempts.
It's basically like a gigantic, what are those old sim types? Research sims? It's basically like a
Oh,
gigantic exam of that.
They don't have research sims anymore.
No, not in the 2024.
Not that we can
sims.
tell.
Oh,
Yeah. From everything we're
Yeah.
seeing, they're not
That's
there
like an
anymore.
impossible. Yeah.
I was going to ask about if the format's changed or what else changed in the 24 exam.
No more written communication, obviously, because that was in BEC.
Oh yeah.
No research sims, from what
Okay.
we can tell. Like there's kind of
Oh.
nothing about it, but also on the AICPA website, there's no longer any research sims as practice. So we're pretty sure that it's not there anymore. And then
Mhm.
mainly a lot of the exams kind of got cut down so that some of them could be distributed to the new discipline
Yeah.
exams. Yeah.
Oh,
BEC
okay.
went away, and now there's 3 new
Right.
discipline exams. That's the
Right.
biggest change. That whole,
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 I think FAR maybe getting easier.
It does have
FAR
less.
and
Some of
reg
the
should be
topics are
slightly
moving
easier.
to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 They kind of
Got
took
it.
the advanced stuff from FAR and the advanced stuff from reg, and then some of the stuff from BEC, and that's all on the bar exam now. So
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I'm interested to
Interesting.
see what the pass rates are. I think
Probably-
bar is going to be the hardest exam from now on. I mean,
I'm
I
sure,
think,
yeah.
So
Yeah, that was another goal I had, was to be done before the 24 changes. I didn't want to.
It's a really good goal.
Absolutely.
Didn't want to mess with that because like their score release schedule is just crazy, and
Oh, it's bonkers.
yeah, so I'm really glad I'm done now.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you started back in 2017, I just remember this. That was the last time that there was like this big change. Do you remember
Yeah,
that at the time?
I do a little bit. I think they just added Sims to BEC maybe.
They introduced the DRS, the document review simulation, where all the exhibits that
Oh.
open. Before, they weren't like that.
They didn't have exhibits before then.
Well, they might have had some like that, but the one where you
Oh yes, I remember
the memo
yeah,
and like the
document reviews.
lines throughout it can change,
Mhm.
or
Oh my gosh, I did not like those
yeah,
at all.
yeah, those were new on
Okay, right.
2017.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So looking
Right.
back from that initial period where you were just frustrated and the whole thing was
Mhm.
overwhelming, you didn't really know how to approach it, to
Mhm.
You passed BEC. It sounds like by far that your second exam, you kind of had a process nailed down that was working. What were the big changes that led to that? Like the top 2 or 3 things that took you from being like overwhelmed, not knowing what to do, to
Okay.
your approach that was working.
Okay. Well, I think like a lot of your strategies, like focusing on the questions and not so much reading the textbook. Like before I was kind of reading the textbook too much. Like it was just a waste of time. And like I was watching the lectures the surgeon had, and they just weren't helping me at all. I wasn't spending as much time as I should on the practice questions. And so I thought that was the real like game changer for me.
Yeah.
And like for some reason, I just never did any practice sims for BEC when I was studying in 2017. I don't know why. I thought I could do them on the exam, but that's proved wrong. And so, yeah, I think just like the active learning approach really helped me, and just reworking all the problems. Even if I've seen it before, I'll rework it. And like I'll do the sims like so many times just so I wouldn't be surprised.
To wrap this up, we could call it the same thing. What would be your top 2 or 3 tips to people struggling with the study process?
Okay, sure. I thought about these because I've seen them on previous podcasts. My number one tip is don't ever give up on this process. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes a lot of dedication and hard work, but once you get done, it's the best feeling in the world, like I said earlier. Number 2 tip is don't be afraid to ask for help, whether it be a tutor or your coaching program, which I'm sure is excellent. Is that like a tutoring program, or is it
Not really
like strategy? Okay.
It's kind of helping people, get the process down, and
okay.
we kind of have them record themselves doing a study session so we can see how they actually are working through. I mean, it kind of sounds like your tutoring thing, kind of. We don't really do question walkthroughs per se, but it's more
occasionally, but
seeing the process of how someone approaches questions and kind of guiding them on breaking them down, making sense of them.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And then first 2 tips. Third tip is like utilize Excel or whatever spreadsheets tool you have to solve the questions. I thought that was very like a game changer for me.
I was going to ask you about that actually. So previously, were you just doing stuff on scratch paper by hand? What were you doing before when you were not using Excel?
I was essentially doing it just by hand or just in my head, which didn't work at all for me. Yeah, basically just in my head or on pencil paper. Yeah.
So was laying it out on Excel, was that something you got from the Pro Course videos, the planting the seeds walkthrough video? Or when did you start using Excel?
I started using it after I started working with my tutor, really.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
And I would set up tables to solve the questions or just do the calculations through Excel.
So it sounds like that third tip could almost be expanded to figuring out a way to structure, taking notes, doing calculations in a way that really fits and makes sense in your brain. It seems like the structure of Excel really helped you put it together.
It did. Yeah, that was very beneficial for me, 100%.
Yeah. And I think like on paper, it's easy for it to, if you're just jotting down numbers, like just numbers and it's on paper, you can kind of keep track of what you're doing in the moment, but it just will not mean anything later on. It doesn't force you to set up problems in kind of the same structure. And I think there's a lot to learn from that, like setting up problems intentionally, like line by line. Just the structure of Excel, I think, helps a lot.
Absolutely.
Or a spreadsheet, whatever.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I would use it on exam day too, of course, like to set up questions.
Yeah.
But just to run simple calculations, I would use it. The calculator is fine, but I just thought Excel is much easier.
I found the calculator in the review courses and on the exam, which is, I thought it was garbage. I did not think it was a good calculator.
It's not a good calculator. That's why I use Excel.
Yeah. I preferred using the spreadsheet, or even they would give me a physical calculator at the testing center. So I thought that was better.
Absolutely. I got physical. Yeah, they gave me a physical calculator too. So.
I actually don't remember. I took the exams like 10 years ago, maybe even longer, 10 or 11. I can't remember if they let me have a calculator or not. But yeah, using a mouse to like click buttons on a calculator is ridiculous.
Oh,
But
no.
a lot of people don't think about this. They don't think about their study process specifically. They just kind of think, I've just got to put in more time. Eventually, this will all make sense. And I think that can
Yeah.
happen eventually, just using time as your only tool. But like you said, don't be afraid to look into just other ways of doing this. If
Without
what
a
you're
doubt.
trying to do is not working, reevaluate how you're spending time, what you're doing when you study. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We talked to somebody recently, and so, people who are listening right now, they might remember hearing this whenever we released the other one too. They were saying it's crazy to fail an exam and then just keep doing the same thing, just doing the same process, failing over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
You always have to be looking for what you can improve, and whatever works, whatever gets you to passing these exams is worth it,
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
I appreciate you doing the call, Kevin. That'll
Absolutely.
be a helpful episode. Like
Great.
like Logan was saying, every time we do a new interview, someone will mention some random thing from like an episode a year or two ago. And it's surprising to me like how many people listen to literally every single one of these. Because there's a lot.
Oh, wow.
There's like over 100 and
Oh, I didn't realize there are that many.
yeah. So
That's-
so
You've
yeah.
been doing it for a while now.
Yeah, it's been close to 3 years, I think.
Oh, great.
For the podcast anyway. And he's been doing
The
super fast
podcast.
since
Yeah.
a
The
decade.
Yeah.
Super fast for 10 years now or so, right?
Yeah.
Almost?
It's
Oh.
around there. It's either 9 or 10 or 11 years. I'm not really
Oh.
sure, but it's been a long time. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Well, your products helped me pass, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. Like, they really helped me.
Yeah. That's awesome to hear. That's the best compliment we can get. So yeah, I'm glad you
Absolutely, yeah.
found us.
I'm glad I did too. I probably wouldn't have been able to pass without super fast CPA. So,
Yeah. That's awesome to hear.
Awesome.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
absolutely.
All right, that was the interview with Kevin. Again, I thought it was a great interview. I love that he was able to change some small things and start passing these exams, and also able to still have a family life with his new baby, go to some concerts, and still have some of the important things in his life. If you liked this episode, make sure you like it and leave a comment on the YouTube video, or leave a rating in your favorite podcast app. And especially make sure you share this podcast with anyone you know who is going through the CPA exams. This podcast is the best free resource out there for CPA exam candidates. Thanks for watching or listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.